Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Adam. You're watching Unlimited Options Investing. Thank you very much, guys. We are now above 1,000 subscribers. I'm super excited if you couldn't tell. I have so many good ideas that I've been writing down over the past few days. It's been a hectic last couple of days, but even more so, this week is going to be even more hectic as it is the most anticipated week of the quarter as all the big dogs are announcing their earnings this week. So taking a look at the laptop, looking at Monday before open, nothing too crazy or too exciting. We have Kimberly-Clark, which makes a bunch of home products like toilet paper and stuff. RBI, which is Restaurant Brands International. They own Tim Hortons, Popeyes, and as well Burger King. Nothing else too crazy for the open. But after the close, you have Facebook, one of my bigger investments long term. Facebook has been beaten down, especially over the past, let's say, 6 weeks or so. The broad market as a whole has been pretty volatile, but especially Facebook because they just been getting bad news after bad news after bad news. Everyone just seems to hate Facebook, but they just make so much money and they're so good at it. So looking at, let's say, at the last 6 months or so, you see the big climb up over here and then it hits the peak early September, as most of the broader market did. From the peak until where we are now, we are down 15%, which is very substantial for such a mega cap company. It used to be over $1 trillion in market cap, and now it's at $915 billion. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Maybe you have Logitech. Looking at Tuesday morning, you have UPS, E, 3M, Waste Management, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. So a bunch of really industrial names. You have Hasbro. Nothing too flashy or anything on Tuesday morning. They are important companies, but just sectors that I'm not really interested in putting my money in for the long term, as they're not really growing. But Tuesday afternoon is when things get really exciting. So first off, we have AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. Looking at the last 6 months, this one's done pretty well, up 40.29%. And doing especially well over the past week and a half or so, which kind of sucks for me because I have a covered call on this one at about 117 that expires on this Friday. So I'm hoping that AMD by Friday closes below 117, or that the IV crushes and kills a lot of the premium out of the option. But we'll have to see what happens with that. Microsoft, obviously a big dog, the second biggest stock in the market. And when we look at that one, it's been pretty volatile over the last, again, 6 weeks. Again, the broader markets were kind of shaky, but right now it's at all-time highs, owning a market cap of $2.32 trillion, just below Apple's. And we also have Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google. And when we take a look at that one, similar to Facebook and to Microsoft, it's been volatile over the last 6 weeks or so. We're within about $200 or $175 from the all-time high. And if we zoom out on this one to the year-to-date, since January, this one is up 60% on the year. Google is an absolute beast as well. We have Visa. And I actually just watched a video, I believe it was on CNBC, on Visa, on how they have such a big hold on the entire financial world. And honestly, I didn't know how their business model worked exactly up to this point, but it's super interesting and no wonder they're so big. And when we take a look at that stock prices, since the beginning of the year, it's up about 6.19%. So it has underperformed the broader market so far, but Visa is an absolute beast. It has a market cap just under $500 billion. And I see this one just growing and growing over the upcoming years. They have their hands in some of the biggest financial services in the entire world, as well as dabbling in cryptocurrencies and so on. So Visa is a huge beast as well, reporting on Tuesday afternoon, as well as Twitter, ENPH, and Robinhood. And honestly, Texas Instruments, as well as QuantumScape, they're all interesting companies, but Twitter, obviously we know that. ENPH, which is a solar company, and that stock has just been beasting ever since last year as well as Robinhood that IPO'd this summer, and that stock kind of been all over the place. And taking a look at Twitter year to date, it's up 14%, but very roller coaster ride, going down, up, down, and then trading sideways right now. Looking at ENPH over the past, let's say 5 years, just to show you guys since 2020, since the beginning of the pandemic, this one's just been whoop. I've been trading sideways-ish since the beginning of the year, but this one has a lot of growth potential as well. And Robinhood, again, this one IPO'd in the summer, and this one's been all over the place. It started off at $34, jumping all the way up to a 52-week high of $85 right after it IPO'd, and it's been a slow bleed ever since. And I know Kathy Wood and ARK Invest have been buying this one as well. And taking a look at Wednesday, we have a lot of big names and nothing crazy flashy like we had on Tuesday. So you have Boeing, GM, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Spotify being the most interesting of the bunch. You have Six Flags as well, but these are a lot of legacy names. You have Ford, TDOC, which is really interesting, a big ARK Invest name, TWLO, another ARK Invest name, ServiceNow. I own some Upwork, you have eBay. So interesting names, but nothing too crazy until we get to Thursday morning. You have Shopify, Mastercard. And taking a look at those graphs, so this is Shopify in Canadian dollars. It's a Canadian company. This one over the past 5 years has just been a huge monster, just going up and up and up. It's going to be a big part of the digital economy if you own a small business and you want to have a website online. Looking year to date, this one is up 26.37%. Mastercard as well, very similar to Visa. Visa does have a bigger market share as well as a bigger market cap, but Mastercard, we all know it as well. It's right up there. Looking year to date, this one's up 2%, so it's underperformed the market as well. And it's just been trading sideways in a channel for the past, let's say, 6 weeks again since that volatility. Much higher for most of the year, finding weakness after August, and then right now trading sideways since the beginning of September. We also have Caterpillar, which gives you a good indication of how the economy is doing, like in places like China, for instance, Merck, and their tablet that came out for the pandemic, as well as Altria, which is a tobacco company. I'm not very interested in that one. A lot of people like that one. I'm not a big fan of it. I know they pay a dividend, but I don't know. It's not for me. You have Comcast, which owns NBC. And you also have American Tower, which is similar to Crown Castle, and they're both REITs, or real estate investment trusts, and they own communications infrastructure, especially 5G infrastructure. So that's an interesting name as well. I'm not really looking to buy them. I always like to see how much it is just to keep my eye on it. But it's really after the close that we're all looking forward to. You have Apple, Amazon, and Starbucks to a lesser degree. But Apple is the biggest stock in the market. And when we take a look at that one, it has a market cap of $2.46 trillion, meaning essentially where Apple goes, the rest of the market will likely be following, not necessarily, but a lot of the market does kind of like to see what Apple is doing. And when we look year to date, this one's up 15%. Again, since the beginning of September, we see that volatility. And right now, we're near that 150 mark. We saw them unveil their new computers with the new M1 chips. And it's just super interesting what's been going on. So definitely, everyone's going to be having their eyes on Apple as well as Amazon. This one's actually been the worst performing big tech stock over the past year, only up 4%. And you've got to figure that Amazon's just coiling up, waiting to spring upward. But again, with earnings, you never know. It could just go back down. But if it does go below, let's say 32, 3100, there's going to be a lot of buyers at those levels, pushing it back up to where it is now. And it's just been trading sideways for the better part of the year. We're just going to have to wait and see. And looking at Starbucks over the past year, this one's up 27.76%. We all know Starbucks. Everyone loves their morning coffee. It's ingrained in the American culture. It's not going anywhere. Love Starbucks as a stock. It's going to keep growing over the upcoming years, and it pays a 1.71% dividend. On Friday, you have Exxon, Mobil, and Chevron, which are both oil energy companies, as well as AbbVie, which is a pharmaceutical company, Cameco, which is a nuclear company. And it'll be interesting to see how Exxon and Chevron do, because oil has been on a tear, especially over the past few months. As we all know, we've all seen the gas prices, and filling up your car is so much more expensive than it was in the past. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of numbers these two companies report and how much profit they made, as well as Cameco, which is a Canadian company. And actually, uranium has done very well this year, and anything to do with uranium has just gone up. So we see that as well with Cameco up 153% over the past year. So it's going to be a pretty interesting week. Let me know in the comments below which companies you're most excited about that are reporting their earnings this week. As always, subscribe, like, and I will see you in the next video.